What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Tosh, and today we're going to be talking about a guy who's been, really the center of a lot of MVP conversations so far this season. A guy that has done so much, revolutionized the game of basketball in a season in a way, and I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to show you guys why James Harden is an all-time great, why he will be an all-time great. Well, when he's retired, that's what is going to be viewed as. He's going to be probably a top 5 shooting guard, or, if you want to put him in the point guard category, that ever lived. The things that he's doing right now, he could be a top 20, top 25 player ever. So, yeah, let's get into it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment an idea down below, subscribe if you're new. Here we go. A year ago, if I was told this, I would probably flip out. Honestly, last year, I did my fair share of, just not really believing in James Harden. I wasn't the type of guy that was thinking, hey, this guy's an NBA superstar. He's a top tier player in the league. To me, James Harden wasn't in that upper echelon of NBA players. When I say that, I mean like the top 5 players in the NBA, maybe even top 10. And yeah, there were points where I didn't think he was a top 10 player in the NBA. And this was because his weaknesses were just so glaring, that it was like, well, I can't have him there. His team really disappointed. The second seed the year before, and they almost fell out of the playoffs. They were literally a game away from falling out of the playoffs last season. They finished as an 8 seed team. They won a playoff game against the Golden State Warriors in the first round. Only one. They lost in 5 games, and that was it. After an Western Conference Finals appearance, that was it. You didn't really expect that. This was a team that showed an ability to be elite at times, even a championship contender. And then last year, if you were talking about Houston Rockets as a championship contender, you were crazy, because these guys obviously didn't want to play that hard. They weren't really on the same page as a team. Their chemistry was off, and they were just trying to make the playoffs. They didn't really care about championships that year because it obviously wasn't going to happen. James Harden and Dwight Howard, there was a little bit of a rift there, and after Dwight Howard left, it looked like the Rockets were just James Harden and a bunch of role players. How was this going to work? James Harden's abilities were in question now, because after showing that he could be a great offensive player, that he could run an offense, his defense was still a question. His leadership abilities and qualities were still in question, and we didn't really know what James Harden had in him. Now, crazy enough, this season he has proved everybody wrong. He has the stats to back it up. 29 points, 11.5 assists, 8 rebounds, and he shoots an efficient 45% from the field and 35% from 3 while taking, a good deal of shots from the perimeter. He shoots 86% from the free throw line. His turnovers are probably going to set an NBA record. Let's just get that out of the way, because that is his biggest weakness other than his defense, I would say. I think those are his 2 things that, he's not so strong on. But, those are things that we can live with. Last season, I criticized his defense and even his turnovers because they really hurt the team. The defense was a product of, the terrible defense that the Rockets played is what I'm trying to say, because they were a bottom 10 defensive team last year. They were terrible on the defensive end, and I thought it was in large part to this guy's, he didn't want to play defense, and when your best player doesn't want to play defense, it's just a bad sign for your team. Something's obviously up, and obviously if this guy doesn't want to play defense, why should anybody else on the team play defense? That's probably something that went through some people's minds. He was very lazy last season. It didn't really look like he wanted to be out there at times on that defensive end. And they ended up in the 8th seed because, well, they really underachieved, I think. And even though you can look at that team and, legitimately make a case for why that team shouldn't have been going that far, they definitely had the talent. And you see what they're doing this year and the year before last year. This team can get places. They can be elite. They can be a team in that upper echelon of the NBA with the Warriors, Cavs, and Spurs if they want to. The potential's there. We've seen them rattle off 9-10 straight wins, I think multiple times this season. Maybe they've done it at least once, and they've been fantastic in stretches, and it's all because of James Harden and how he's turned it around, how he's really made his mark as a leader. He's really tried as hard as he can to be that guy for this team, and this is a guy that I was talking about how he's very overrated last season. I was talking about how this guy didn't deserve the credit for being a superstar. And as crazy as it might sound, I believe that, back then I had a point. The way the team was looking, the way he was playing, it just didn't seem to me, like he was really into it, like he was really deserving of that status because of, his effort that he was showing. But this year, he looks like a totally different player, okay? His scoring is even up from last season, but his assists are up by 4. His rebounds are a career high as well. He's shooting a better field goal percentage than he has in the last 3 years. The guy's getting to the line more than ever. You can highlight so many improvements in his game, especially the team record. I mean, these guys are 35-15. That's good enough for third best in the league. 3 spots away from the San Antonio Spurs. 3 games away, I should say, from the San Antonio Spurs. In the playoff bracket. I don't think they're going to get there. I think they're going to match up with the Grizzlies in the first round. I think the Grizzlies are going to be the 6th seed at the end of the season, yes. And that's going to be very interesting to see how far they get in the NBA playoffs this year. And, it's one thing for me to call him an all-time great. It's really out of the fact that if he gets injured, because he's been very healthy over his career, over these last few years. He played every game last year. He played all but 1 game in the 14-15 season. I don't believe he's missed a game so far. No, he hasn't missed a game so far this season. He's extremely healthy, so you don't have a lot to worry about there. But if something was to happen to James Harden, this team, I don't think, we would see them really do anything in the playoffs, because I think he runs this team. They go as he goes, and he's usually an incredible player. I haven't even gotten to his 50-point triple-double that he dropped last night, his 2nd of the season, marking it for the first time that any NBA player has ever had multiple 50-point triple-doubles in a season. He also had that 53-17-16 game. No one's ever had a 50-15-15 game until he did earlier this season with that one. He's breaking records out here. I mean, that's how you know someone is the real deal, when he's doing stuff that has never been done in NBA history. And you could point to Russell Westbrook and say the same thing. Oh, Russell Westbrook's going to be an all-time great. I think he will be. I mean, Russell Westbrook's, he's going to average a triple-double. But, I mean, that has been done, right? But not in an era like this. Not with the game played this way. Not with a 6'3" point guard that's averaging more rebounds than his entire team and almost every big man in the league. I mean, it's pretty crazy. This video is not about Russell Westbrook, because no one's ever done what James Harden is doing. No one. 50-point triple doubles. I mean, two in a season. That's never been done. 53, 17, and 16. A 50, 15, 15 game. Never been done. I mean, the guy is wowing us every night. He's extremely consistent. He puts up great stats every single night. That's not really what I'm getting at. It's that combined with his leadership, combined with his ability to lead a team like this, to where they are. You put anybody else on a team with guys like this, I don't know how good they are. That's why he's my MVP so far. Because I don't think that any player in the NBA right now you could put on this Houston Rockets team, I don't think they'd have the 3rd best record in the league. I just don't. I mean, Russell Westbrook is doing it, with a slightly worse team. Okay, the guys around him aren't as good as the guys around James Harden, just barely not as good. But that team's not even close to what James Harden's doing. Thunder are not even close to the Rockets, is what my point is. LeBron James, they don't even have as good of a record as Houston. And look at the guys that he has on his team. I mean, are you kidding me? That just speaks for itself. And the Warriors, obviously, they got that super team, so you can't expect anybody on that team to come over to this team and lead them like he's doing. And the Spurs, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's got some great role players, better role players than James Harden has, and that's why, and he's got LaMarcus Aldridge as well. He's got a great coach. James Harden is doing something no one is doing, no one has done, and he's also going to be an all-time great because of it, because he's got many more years like this. He's obviously developed into such a great player that he's virtually unguardable. He will kill your defense no matter what adjustments you put on it. He's such a good passer, you can't double team him. He'll find the open man. You can bring up the 6 turnovers, but that's not really stopping them from being the 3rd best team in the league. That's not really stopping him from being an MVP, because obviously when you're making all the plays, you're going to commit a lot of turnovers. It's a lot of turnovers. It's going to be an NBA record. So he's also making history there. But hey, man, he's making more plays. I mean, he has such a high usage rate. I'm actually pretty surprised Westbrook doesn't have more turnovers than he does. But he's having better results, in my opinion. And I don't know. He's ridiculous. The way that he's dominating these games, it's something that we haven't seen in a long time, I don't think. I mean, just the way he's doing it, as I'm saying. Like, you know, the consistency, the ability to put these numbers up, these crazy, ridiculous numbers up consistently, night in, night out. The 50-point triple-double is obviously something new for the NBA. Guys, it's ridiculous. And I think that he'll have seasons like this after this. He's, how old is he? He's only 27 years old right now. He's in his prime. He's entering his prime. I mean, he's going to be like this hurrah. He could even get better than this. And once he gets some better teammates, I think they're going to keep building that squad in Houston because they know they've got a guy in James Harden that could lead a team to a championship. I didn't believe he was capable of that last year. I didn't believe he was ever going to be capable of that. But now I do. I mean, what he's doing is historical. He just, you know, you give him another star, you give him a guy that can shoot lights out, he's got guys that can shoot lights out. I'm saying, like, you give him another guy. You give him some more talent. You give him some great defense. You give him the best role players you can get, the guys that will play alongside James Harden and try to help him win. I mean, he's doing it all right now, and you know, I believe that it's likely that this guy wins a ring by the end of his career, at least one. You know, because I think that this team's just going to get better. I don't see how a team like this, a team with James Harden on it, could get worse with the guys that they have. They got to keep those role players, but also they gotta try to find somebody. You know, try to find people that can play. Try another star. That's what this team needs. It's all this team needs, and we'll see what happens. Guys, this is ridiculous what this guy's doing. It's not. We're not paying enough attention to it. You know, he's making history here. He's becoming one of the top 5, top 3, top whatever. What is he? Top 3 player in the league right now? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. You know what he's doing. He in a few years he might be the best player in the league, and next year he might be the best player in the league. I wouldn't go as far to say that right now, but you know, over a long span of time, if he keeps doing this, if he shows up in the playoffs, then there's no reason why he can't be the best player in the league. That's gonna do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed this one. We gotta appreciate this guy, what he's doing for the NBA. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.